Hey everyone, it's Libby from Meister Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people, that's W-O-R-I-M-I, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides in the universal energies. Yes, it is Saturday here today, but I missed yesterday. I didn't actually get to see my soothsayer yesterday. The weather was so atrocious, so I had a beautiful morning with the grandkids. Oh man, talk about pooped after that. Judy basically said, look, don't come, we'll reschedule, because where she lives, the road in and out very easily gets cut off with heavy rain. So reschedule for a couple of weeks' time. More than happy for that, because things happen when they are meant to. So obviously it was supposed to be put off for a little bit. And so yesterday afternoon I had the best of sleep. Nothing like chasing after the little ones to wear grandma out. Now, I was just about to put these cards back from my last reading, the Trip and Wait Tarot and the Trip and Wait Extras, and I split the deck to start putting them away, and what did I get? Three of Swords. So now I'm going to put them away. I'm just going to say that was a real confirmation for me that, yeah, there is some vascular action happening with the orange idiot this weekend. Okay, what do I want to have a look at? I'm not going to look at Biden. Biden is suing the DOJ to prevent the release of his recordings for his book. Absolutely. They were private recordings between him and his ghostwriter. The DOJ, they haven't got a leg to stand on in regards to it. This is just intimidation and threatening. They will do what they're doing with E. Jean Carroll. Now, I do hope that she stays safe, probably heads overseas, probably to Europe. Go and have a summer in Europe, E. Jean. Come back when this is all over. Enjoy the French countryside, visiting the markets and whatever, je ne sais quoi, you know, treated really beautifully over there. So I hope she does, because, and as Bondi said, boy, did she throw Blanche straight under the bus. She basically came out and said that the lack of release of the X-Files is all his fault, and he is acting as the private attorney for the felon. Yeah, duh. It's like, yeah. So this against Biden, this against E. Jean. He'll probably try something against Obama if he's still able to. Actually, no, I don't think he's going to, because I don't think he's going to be able to. But these are just petty vindictiveness, because he is a petty vindictive man. Okay, who has refused to learn his life lesson and will be going to the afterlife, not having learnt the lesson that he came here for? And what he came here for was to expose all that he's exposing. I'm just going to put it out there. That was what he came here for. But he did have something that he was supposed to learn from it, but he didn't learn, and he's gone too far. Years ago, I did a future lives reading on him, and I keep getting that he's going to have 2 lives where he comes back, where he is a nobody with nothing, literally a homeless hobo or something along those lines, with visions of grandeur, because he's going to have the same ego energy, and it's going to take 2 lifetimes for him to learn humbleness. Okay, where do I want to go with that? So, no, I think Biden's going to be fine, but gee, what a little so-and-so. However, what it is doing is it's putting Biden back in the spotlight. So questions are now being asked by right-wing conspiracy theorists. Oh, isn't it funny how these conspiracy theorists were actually turning out to be not so conspiracy? I've been saying Argentina for years, and of course Teal is now hoeing the row down there for Fleon to join him. Just wondering I've got a mug behind there. I wasn't quite sure what I had there. I had forgotten. Let me move that over so it can be seen. Teal is now down there. So yeah, yappity about Argentina for ages. The right wing are now coming out and saying, Was Biden drugged during that debate? Was he? So they're now starting to question. And what happens is when the penny drops for them on one thing, all of a sudden they're going to start questioning everything else and they're going to be cross. So stay out of the way of the crazies. This is a time for us to enhance our skills, both physically and spiritually, so that we are in this amazingly strong position for the rebuild. And when I'm saying physically, I'm talking about yoga, gardening. I want to go and learn how to make homemade wallpaper. I want to learn basket weaving. I still haven't got round to that. I've been talking about that for ages. I should do so. But you know, something that's out of your wheelhouse that you go and learn and then develop the skills for that, because I had just been, before I came on, in the chat with Susan Lynn's live, chatting away. And when we started talking about things that we can do, quilt making, educating yourself in teaching children to read, whatever it is, everything that people suggested was either spiritually based or creativity based. And AI can't do creativity. It can't do spirituality either. So this is where humanity is really going to come to the fore. Now, don't worry about that. That's just Bindi. She's down there wrapped around the base there. So when she wiggles, the whole thing wiggles. This sort of thing, this is a scarf, believe it or not. All it is just a beautiful ball of wool that's been cut to length and tied in a knot in the middle. And because it's a knot in the middle, it stays in those two ends. Wrap it around and fluff it up and do whatever. Absolutely gorgeous. Something like that. So easy. Okay, what do I want to have a look at? I want to have a look at, and I'm using the Runic Tarot, I'm going to have a look at the drone that hit the Romanian apartment building, allegedly during a went astray, allegedly, with an attack on Ukraine. I want to have a look. Was it deliberate? Because we've got this attempt to draw NATO into this conflict. Was it deliberate? Was this drone attack on a Romanian apartment building deliberate? Was it deliberate? Now, what's a common denominator with the taking out of the girls' school in Persia and the alleged taking out of a dormitory in Raska by the Ukrainians? It's the intel that comes from the CIA. I'm just going to put it out there. Oops, and she's up and off. Okay, so the intel. But let's have a look. So more and more allies are not going to trust the, let me turn that around now that she's not wiggling on it anymore. Not going to trust the intel of the what comes out of the US regime. But yeah, Queen of Swords, strategy, intelligence, etc. Planting the seeds. Okay. My question was this deliberate? Was this drone? And I'm going to say yes. The Queen of Swords. It was a strategy. And look at her hand there. She's going, come on, give us your best shot. So I think this was a strategy to try and lure NATO in. And the Ten of Wands. It is a card of overreach. It's a card of going too far. But this Ten of Wands is about planting the seeds for something in the future. Okay. We've got a rash action here. Could be a harsh truth, though, coming forward about a death of a leader. Okay. Is this acting now because a leader's passing is imminent? Wonder which one it is. Okay. I think the Putin figure is long gone. I don't think he's been seen public for, well, he might be on some sort of life support or something, but he hasn't been seen public for 12, 18 months. It's all been body doubles. Uh, People are starting to now question the 60 Minutes interview with the Yahoo that, oh God, a lot of you are telling me stuff that I've told you weeks or months ago that the either mainstream media or podcasters are now starting to say, was that really the Yahoo? Because something was off. Um, so I do love that you guys are now starting to let me know about these things. I would love to hear from any of the crew or someone who knows a crew or someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. You'll stay anonymous, absolutely, of the USS Gerald Ford. When I put in tracking for the USS Gerald Ford, it came up heading across the Atlantic, and this was about a week or 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, something like this. It's now docked, it's now back in the US. But what it had on its little symbol, actually, I'll stop and I'll see if I can find it to tell you the exact wording. Hang on a sec. Okay, it's now back in home base. But when you go into cruisingearth.com and you do your ship tracker and all the rest of it, and it has the USS, you put in the USS Gerald Ford and it says US government vessel unspecified, picks it up in the middle of the Atlantic. It says navigational status, restricted maneuverability. Now, what on earth does that mean? Actually, it's coming out of the Strait of Gibraltar. There, it hadn't actually set off. And that was from the 18th, ages ago. 18th of the 2nd, it's saying, but I'm pretty sure I didn't pick that up, the 18th of the 2nd. Did it really leave the Strait of Gibraltar like 6 weeks ago? Possibly did. Restricted maneuverability. So I'd love to hear because I have, scalps. Yeah, standing on end, scalps prickling. Because I did hear ages ago, a couple of months back, that the supposed laundry fire was not a laundry fire. It was across multiple decks, and it is pretty much something like a boom boom going down an elevator shaft. And there's the ace to say absolutely yes. Okay, absolutely yes. The knowledge of such will coincide with a leader going. Okay, so what do I want to have a look at? Was the drone hit on the Romanian apartments building? Was it deliberate? Yes, it was. 5 of Swords. Abuse of power, sneaking into camp, setting fire to it, taking off with the weaponry. Yeah, I'm going to say yes, it was with that 5 of Swords. What's on the top? The Justice. Actions having consequences, and the Moon card, secrets being revealed. Literally a good of, and the Sun card being fully exposed. So I'm going to say yes, it was. There will be consequences for this. The secrets are going to come out, and it's going to be fully on view for everybody to see that this was deliberate, a deliberate attack on citizens, 5 of Pentacles. Because they've basically got no fighting people left. This is to try and draw NATO in. And there's some sort of with the intention of this is an 4 of Wands, an announcement coming from the White House. Oh, okay. There's someone being reasonable, probably believe it or not, Rutte or someone high up in the EU saying, we ain't going there. King of Cups. And then the Ace of Pentacles. We will defend. They will defend. They will try and stop these missiles coming in. Okay, there might be some sort of announcement coming out of the White House. Okay, right. Because the US is still in NATO, despite the orange idiot declaring over and over and over again that he was going to take them out. But gee, what better cover for supporting the Kremlin than going in there as a NATO? So, okay, thank you. They're reminding me that troops were removed from Germany and removed from Poland, but put back into Poland. Oh, was going to be deployed to Poland and then it was stopped. But no, they were deployed. There's something amiss here. So, okay, let's see if we can nut out what it is. Come on down, let's have a look. Oh, yeah, doing the bidding of the devil. The devil energy. Dancing the tune of the devil, doing the bidding of the devil. Oh, in this destruction on the battlefields. Icky, 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 icky. Now, this symbol here is the symbol for survival. Pardon me. Survival. There are other meanings, constraint, endurance, self-reliance, but I'm getting survival. This was action taken by those that are tied to this devil energy because they are literally in survival mode. Now, apparently there's reports coming out that those in the Rusky army are fighting over food and weapons, and like they're fighting amongst themselves. So yeah, I'm going to say, yeah, this was a ploy, a desperation for survival to try and draw NATO into the conflict. Oh, this is just ick. Right, challenged by the Eight of Cups. The other elements of NATO are not going to respond as expected. They're going to walk away. They're going to take their cup and nick off out of Dodge. You've got the crusty old dragon down the front there, expecting the response to be in a certain manner, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to, they're not going to take the bait. In the past, I mean, even going back 10 years, yes, they would have. Yes, NATO would have taken the bait. That's why this crusty old dragon's chewing on this old decaying branch. This is the expectation of what NATO would have done, should do, but they're not going to do it. Okay. At the foundation, we've got the military, the energy that they're stewing in. Sending in the military, okay. So NATO aren't going to. They may pull together in their defence pact and strengthen their defence pact, but I don't think they're going to send in the military. Because we've got here vision, revelation at the front of the chariot here. They see this for what it is. In the past, oh gosh, the corrupt disregard for human life in the past. I believe the Ruskies have lost millions. Reports are at least 500,000 deceased. I suspect that's majorly underreported. And apparently news has come out that, remember, there was that farming family where he sold up his farm and him and his wife moved his whole family to Rusky on the promise that he would be revered and given a position because he was a welder in safety and all the rest of it. Well, word's coming out that he was sent to the front line and is no longer with us. Five of Cups, loss, regret, but corrupt disregard for the pawns. Tipping the pawns over in the past. Okay, see where this goes. The Ace of Wands. Fiery new plan. Fiery new messaging. The immediate future, the King of Wands. Taking action. Fiery action. You've got the Three of Pentacles externally, plotting behind the scenes, but he's ending up by himself. Okay, the Kremlin is ending up by himself. I think there was this plan to draw NATO in, and NATO have said, yeah, no, we're not going to. This is my Zelensky card. This is someone who, the Three of Pentacles, in it for the money. This is not Zelensky, by the way. In it for the money, and was working together with others, but finding themselves all alone and having to do it all by themselves. You've got the Seven of Pentacles. The warrior now has a target on his back. And looking at past wins, but inability to bring forward another one. Got the Ace of Cups here, which is really interesting. The cup has turned up in here. The cup, the emotional, the partnerships. The partnership has been shelved. Thank you. Because the cup's sitting on the shelf. The partnership has been shelved. Right. You've got the guardrails holding. This is the Nine of Wands and the hopes and fears. This is NATO not taking the bait. The outcome. There's that Ten of Wands that we had before. Planting the seeds for something in the future. The King of Swords. A new strategy and a new strategy of strength. King of Swords. This could be Sword of Truth coming forward. Being brought forward. And strength. And we've got a false victory here. Proclaiming a false victory. But there's that Ace of Swords coming forward. And the defiance of Ukraine. Or just the defiant messaging. So there might be a demand that NATO be involved. But I think there's going to be pushback because there's the Five of the infighting, the Five of Wands, the pushback. A decision needs to be made with that Two of Swords, but then new information is going to come forward about some sort of agreement, contract and agreement. Oh, so yeah, I think what I'm getting there is that, yeah, this was deliberate. This was deliberate to draw NATO in, but I don't think NATO's going to be. Was this, are we going to get an announcement out of the White House? Now, I haven't looked at the Orange Idiot's social media or Untruth Social or anything like that. I haven't seen if any announcement has been made. So if you have, pop it in the comments. And of course, now I'm wanting to cough. Is there going to be an announcement come from the White House demanding that NATO take action, hit back or whatever? Well, that's a yes. Ace of Cups. That's a yes. The partnership. An emotive declaration of some sort. There's the King of Pentacles. There's the Hanged Man. I don't think they're going to take the bait. And then the Two of Wands. Let us discuss it. But I'm going to say this is part of a plan too. This is a plan. The plan being stopped. So they're very possibly, I think there's going to be some sort of announcement. The illusion delusion with the Seven of Cups, the Justice card, actions having consequences, the Page of Pentacles. This is about bringing forth some sort of announcement about an opportunity. Okay, but you've got the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, okay. News about an ending of a particular leader. It's almost like this is the last roll of the dice. But last roll of the dice for the Kremlin? If this does not, okay, I think the plan, yes, the plan was, but it's not going to happen. They were delusional about how NATO actually works. The Justice card I'm getting, this is about how NATO actually works. NATO is not a attack, it's a defense. And then the Page of Pentacles. This is something about a new opportunity coming forward. The delusional about about what they thought, what the White House thought NATO was about. And then we're going to have the Queen of Pentacles going to look at the situation, and then there's going to be an announcement of a passing. And then the Seven of Wands is going to be, the wrath is going to be brought down upon. You've got the Temperance card, the come hither that did not work. And you've got the Sword of Truth coming forward, and then the Defiance. And then there's the Moon card. And then you've got the potential money trails going from one regime to another. Okay. Oh, High Priestess, Ten of Swords, Five of Wands, Ace of Wands, and the World card. These huge cards with this underlying energy. So, yeah, I think there was this illusion about what NATO actually was. This was deliberate to try and draw NATO in so the US can go in. But not going to work. Not going to work. Hidden agendas being revealed. Ten of Swords, Five of Pentacles, and then we've got this Ace of Pentacles, bringing about an end of this era. Protection, big protection, messaging about protection, new beginning in regards to protection that's going to bring about an end of an era. Yeah, they were delusional about, because remember, they've been yelling for NATO to enter when I'm talking I'm talking about the regime. They've been yelling for NATO to join them in Persia, and the leaders of NATO said, yeah, there's the fool off the cliff, the foolishness, but also it's an opportunity for a new beginning, something new, but the foolishness of it. And there's King of Cups, removing the regime perhaps. The foolishness of it. So they've been yelling for NATO to come in regards to Persia. And NATO are like, no, that's not what NATO is about. So I think they've had a little bit of a, oh, are you sure? So it's this trying to force NATO to enter one of these theatres. And NATO's not going to take the bait. I'm just going to put it out there. Love to you all. Take care.